Hey guys, so I was asked the other day about my t-shirts that I paint with, or I paint on. I was asked to do a tutorial, and I typically don't do tutorials because I just kind of do my own thing when I make crafts. But I was trying to figure out a way to make this without using too many of the Cricut products that I have, so that way people at home who are crafty may have some stuff in hand and they could make their own t-shirts if they want to. So I'm going to do it a different way than I typically do it, and we'll see how this goes. Hopefully when I place the phone down you guys will be able to see what I'm making. But what I did already, just to simplify the video, is I did print out my stencil from my Cricut machine. However, if you don't have a Cricut machine, you can still make your own stencils. You just have to actually like paper cut it. You could possibly paper cut like basic. Let's see if this works. You could probably paper cut some basic designs. So all I'm using is freezer paper, and it's no joke, stuff that you guys have probably at home. Some kitchen freezer paper, and literally you can make your design any way you want. I'm not sure if you guys can see this. So you could do basic stuff to make stencils if you don't have a Cricut machine, but I do, so I made my stencil already, and it's this Mickey Mouse one that you can probably hopefully see on my ironing board. Normally I would use my heat press to actually press down the image onto the shirt. So what you want to do with your freezer paper is make sure the shiny side is face down so that it sticks onto the shirt. And let me just, sorry, my iron's been sitting here for a minute. Let me get that on. So it's probably going to take a little bit longer to actually iron it because the iron actually will move the freezer paper around, which is why normally I use my press. In one swoop I could just press it down. But since y'all were asking me how I did this, and I'm trying to find easy ways for you guys to do this, I figured I'll try the iron today. I do have transfer tape on my image just to hold it in place to make it easier because I'm going to be ironing it, and we'll see how this works. So I'm actually going to pull off the transfer tape and try to iron it down. Okay, I don't want to stand in front of the... I'm not sure what you guys are seeing because I put the phone off to the side, but hopefully my arm is not in your way as I try to pull this off. Julie, I hope you're watching because this video is for you since you asked me for a tutorial. So like I said, with the iron it's probably a little bit more work, or a lot more work, because it moves around. I'm kind of just going to let the iron sit there because the heat press actually gets hotter than the iron, so it might take a little bit more pressure to get this to stick down. once it's done, and I'm almost done, guys. Like I said, I normally use my press, and it's a lot faster. Okay. So I'm just gonna hold it down here for a little bit because it's not that hot. I'll just let that sit for a minute. I don't know if you can hear my radio in the background, so sorry guys if you can't hear me that well and hear my radio. Okay, so hopefully that's nicely pressed down onto the shirt. Like I said, normally the process goes a little bit faster with my Easy Press, heat press. Okay. So then it looks like it's pretty much, oops, almost set down. Okay. So basically all I do, like I said the other day, is I literally will paint on the t-shirt. You can use whatever kind of paint you want. There's like, you know, the t-shirt paint, different paints that you want depending on what colors. If you make your stencil big enough, you can actually buy the t-shirt paint that sprays. It's like a spray bottle, and it makes it a lot easier and faster, but you just got to make sure that your stencil is large enough because the spray will get everywhere else and leave a mess. So what I normally do is I'll take a piece of parchment paper, and you can tell like I've reused it a few times, but you could take cardboard and just kind of stick it in between your shirt. So apparently my shirt had the written imprinted size of the shirt, and I kind of just tore my stencil, but I can just press it back down. So we'll see how it comes out, because I kind of tore the stencil right now when I pulled up the shirt, but it should be okay just for the demo. Not planning to wear this tank top anywhere, maybe just around the house. The other paint that I have is also paint in a can that I'll use. It's black, so I have that on hand. I'm just going to literally paint the stencil in the shirt. Super fast here for you guys. And depending on how heavy of a hand you have, you may put a lot of paint on there, like I do sometimes. So it's just going to determine how long you have to let it dry, depending on how much paint you put on there. It's like super easy once you get your stencil in place. So then you'll just have like this hot mess of a stencil on your shirt. Okay, so I think I covered it all. So I'm just closing up my can of paint because I don't want to accidentally hit my ironing board and knock the whole paint over. And then, because I get impatient and don't like to sit here and wait for the paint to dry, I'll put my blow dryer on. Just kind of let it sit there for a second while I... Okay, so while I let that sit and blow dry for a few minutes, told y'all it was a pretty easy process. Hopefully you guys have this basic stuff at home, and once it dries, all I really do is, sorry, I realize you guys are looking at the stairs. So once it dries, I actually just pull it off the stencil, and it's good to go. Once it's dry, you can put it on. When I use the paint in the can, I will typically just iron it once over before I wear it. I don't know, I just feel like it sets the paint a little bit better, and hopefully that just works for you guys. Sorry, I'm gonna check on. Looks like it's almost dry. Hopefully you guys can hear me. I'm so sorry. Like, I don't usually do the tutorials like I said, and I'm not much of a videographer where I could have just done this and edited out the blow drying part. It's super easy. Pick your design on your Cricut machine if you have it. Print it out on the freezer paper. Apply it to your t-shirt. Like I said, if you have a heat press, super easy, just apply it real quick with the heat press. If you don't, you guys saw, you could do it with the iron. It takes a little while to do it with the iron, but it's still manageable. If you don't have a Cricut, you can cut out designs using freezer paper, make basic t-shirts. Your kids can cut out designs. You can just iron it on for them, and just paint. And like I said, there's so many different types of paint. I usually get mine at Michael's or Hobby Lobby. Not sure if those stores are open right now with this, what is it called, the shelter and home lockdown thing that we have going on. But I know maybe Walmart sells some of the paints. So it's up to you on what type of paint you want. Everybody uses different paint, different colors, different styles. I actually, Julie, I just leave my setting for freezer paper on the vinyl cut, just because I think my blade is getting a little bit older, so I wanted to cut a little bit thicker so that it doesn't mess up the freezer paper. Hopefully that works for you. I've been doing it on that cut for a while now. I started making these t-shirts just for fun, because I didn't have a heat press and I didn't know how to do the vinyl and I didn't know how to do all that other stuff. So I started with this basic stuff for t-shirts, just painting it. I'm going to walk over and check to see if the t-shirt is dry. me. So nothing is coming off from the paint. I usually just kind of rub my hands on it. That looked like it came from the actual paper instead. So it seems like it's pretty dry. So I'm going to put my phone back again. Let's see. Okay, so hopefully you can see this. And then, oh, just be careful, because if you do get paint and you like touch the shirt, obviously it's going to come off on the shirt. I've had that happen before too and messed up the shirt. So then literally you're just going to pull off. Sorry if my arm's in the way. So you're just going to pull it off. And then I had two little pieces on each side, one on each side. So you just pick it off. And then, when it's dry, you can pull out your cardboard or parchment paper. And then voila, your shirt is done. If you want to, you can do like a quick iron on top of it, depending on the type of paint you use. Let me put my iron back in. So then with this paint, I know I'm okay to iron on top of it. So I just iron it, iron my whole shirt, whatever. I'm not really going to iron the whole thing, but you can pretty much see it's done. Super basic image that I chose to do right now. And hopefully you guys can make your own shirts at home. And like I said, it's easy if you have freezer paper and iron, t-shirt paints or fabric paints of any kind. If you have the Cricut, you can make more elaborate stencils. If not, you can just cut things out. Kids can cut shapes in the freezer paper, and then just apply it, paint, and you're good to go. Hopefully, y'all start crafting if you're not a crafter. And since you guys have time, since we're all quarantined to home, I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys make. All right, hopefully this was helpful and you're able to make something from it. Again, like I said, my first little tutorial on here. We'll see how it goes, and hopefully you guys don't get motion sickness from me moving the camera on my cell phone around. The freezer paper is this one. Let me show you. It's just this one. Reynolds Kitchen plastic coated freezer paper. I think I got it at Walmart. H-E-B sells them too. I don't remember how much it is. Maybe like $7. And like you can actually make a lot out of it. I have this whole roll still. Like this much of my roll. And but when you put it on, okay, so if you're using the Cricut and you're new to Cricut, then you'll want to make sure that the shiny side of the paper is actually face down on the mat. That way your image will be on here and you're facing the shiny side down when you iron it, because that's what's going to heat to the shirt to make it a better stencil. Make sense? All right, I'm out. Bye, guys.